Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome back to Marine Corner, or welcome if you're new here. Um, and I hope you're doing well and having a good week so far. I went to Manchester on Friday for an exam. I failed my exam, um, unfortunately. Felt pretty confident coming out of it. Felt confident in it. Just massively failed. I didn't massively fail. I got 87 out of 150. Pass marks 100. But I looked at the pass rate for the exam and it's like 53%. So it's like literally a 50-50 chance whether you pass or fail. You know what I mean? And then the next one in the same, like I'm doing P1 and then P2 is like 44%. So it's like if you pass first time, you're a genius kind of thing. So that's that. So that's the negative stuff out of the way. But after my exam, I decided to take some time in Manchester and went for a bit of a wander. Went to a couple of did I go on? No, I didn't go into bookshops. I went to a couple of, like I went in HMV and FOP looking at books and stuff. But I was after a specific book and they didn't have it, so I ordered it online. But it's not arrived yet, so I'll show you when it does. And I've also got another one I wanted, but I didn't. I couldn't justify paying full price for it in the comic book shop. It's a manga, so I've ordered it online. So that's that. When they come, and I've also got a couple of books I forgot to show as well, because I'm going to do a bit of a book haul. That's what I'm doing now. But before that, I'm going to just do a quick update. So I told you I failed my exam. After my exam, I went for a mooch, and then I nipped into the Shoegaze Cafe in Manchester on Tib Street. It's a really good vibe. If you're in Manchester, it's well worth checking out. The proprietor said it's just a pop-up and he's not sure how long it's going to be there. So, but it's really cheap coffee. It's like £2 for a coffee, or imagine a cup of tea. But coffee's what I mainly, well, I drink both, but when it's coffee and Mexican honey, you're going to drink coffee, unless you don't like coffee. So I had a couple of coffees in there and reading my book and just listening to the music. Like when I got in there was like Routine Death, which I really like. One of their albums. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's called 2 months and 2 weeks, 4 months. I think something like that. And then they had on like Low and Dirty 3. I want to say. I'm not sure if that's right. In the Fish Tank, which is really good. And then Throwing Muses on as well, which was cool. And there's like other vinyls about as well that I was looking at as well. And sometimes they play like films and music, bands are on, and it's just a really chilled out vibe. The only problem is it's in Manchester, so it's like, unless I'm in Manchester studying for an exam, or if I'm in Manchester mooching, I'm not going to get there. It's kind of an awkward one. It's a place I'd be there every day, really. I mean, £2 for a coffee, and it's refillable coffee as well. So you could literally £2 and sit there for 3-4 hours a night. You know what I mean? And it's cost you £2. You know what I mean? It's crazy. They also sell bottles of water as well. But I just had coffee. So I was in there. Saturday I went book shopping, so I've got quite a stack to show you. I don't know how many books I've got. I'm a bit worried about how many books I've got. So that's that. And then today I spoke to my student body, who I'm studying with, and they suggested I take a couple of months break. I can take up to a year, so I'm going to take up to 6 months, I think, maximum. Kind of. I don't want to go past 6 months. I think 6 months is too long. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So in that time, I'm going to pull out 5 films I want to watch, 5 video games I want to play, 5 games, 5 films I want to play, and maybe 5 games, 5 games and 5 films I want to watch. So I can actually sit down and watch stuff. So I'll probably show that off in the next video. I've got a couple of films I think that I want to watch that I've recently picked up or recently pulled out when I was looking for them. So that's that. What else? I want to also start drawing while I'm not studying. I also want to start drawing, meditating, yoga, journaling again. but I want to get a smaller notepad because I've got an A4 notepad, and I feel like I had to fill a page. Whereas I feel like if I got an A5 one, if I want to fill a page, it's less writing to do. So I'm going to do that. I want to start doing weights or exercising or walking more. And I want to do more cooking and baking as well. So I just want to, and it sounds like I want to do a lot, but I don't necessarily have to do baking tomorrow and writing tonight and stuff like that. I just want to take my time with things and just kind of like journaling and exercising, I'd say are most important out of those, and reading more and watching films, and playing video games as well. Because they're three things I enjoy, and I don't really watch many movies because I always feel like I need to study and stuff like that. So that's why I'm taking that time off and really just refreshing my batteries, recharging. So that's that. And then a health update. I've been having blood tests done, and I've got my liver scan on Friday, but they're not envisioning anything's wrong because my bloods are good, apart from I'm on folic acid to increase my folates, which are increasing, so that's good. And I've got some more of that to pick up now, folic acid. So that's that. So yeah, I've got a book haul. That's what I'm doing now. I've got a few books I've been given, and then a few books that I've picked up myself. But yeah, because I'm off, because I'm having this time off studying, I've got more time to read. So I'm planning on and walking obviously as well. So as it gets nicer and stuff, I'll start walking somewhere, and like a local park or something, and find a bench and maybe sit on a bench. I want to start trying to get into work earlier because I feel like with having less stress on my plate, I should be able to sleep better, get up earlier and stuff like that is my plan. So yeah, that's that. But I don't know what to do about reading really, because I feel like I've got this time now to either delve myself into deeper, bigger books, thicker books, longer books, more intense books. Like I've seen in a charity shop, well, it's an antique shop near me. There's two books I really want: 2666 by Robert Bolaño, and Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. I feel like they're both books that would need time, and I've now got that time. Or do I just go, okay, I'm going to see how many books I can read in 3 months and see what I fancy reading, not necessarily picking on size or anything like that. So that's that. So yeah, I'm going to go through the book haul now because we're 10 minutes in. But yeah, I think Friday Reads is now going to be like what I want to listen to this weekend, because I want to try and maybe pick a few albums as well that I want to listen to, because I think that'd be quite cool as well. I think 5 albums, 5 films, and 5 games. I mean, I don't have to necessarily complete the games, but if I have an hour on each one, then over the week it's an hour. You know what I mean? I've usually got quite a lot of time to spend in the evening because I'm not studying now. So I only see Sam every other weekend, so that makes it a bit easier as well. So I just want it low pressure, Journaling, I think A5. If I do a day, I might say, I'm reading, I don't know, well, this is a library book that I've shown, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Tales of Terror. I'm just reading this today, and so far I'm enjoying it. Not sure if or whatever, you know what I mean? Even if that's my journal, or, it was a good day, it was a bad day, whatever, Look, just as much although I want to do loads, just low pressure. I'm not like tonight I want to read, I'd like to finish my book tonight. Do I care if I don't? No, not really. Doesn't matter. Just so chilled now. I just feel so chilled, and once I send that email tomorrow, it'll just and tell them that I'm gonna have. I think I'm gonna go for 4 months, to be honest with you, because then that'd take me up to like January or something. January. Probably end of August, maybe something like that. Anyway, Yeah, start of September really. So that's that, or mid-September maybe. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, honestly, I don't know. I just feel really chilled now. I just feel like I can watch. I mean, I'm reading a book at the minute that I've got in this book haul that I'll show off in a minute. But yeah, and as well, with the books, because I've no TBR properly planned next month currently in my head. I mean, I want to grab a book off the second-hand TBR. I do want to try and read Firestarter by Stephen King, so I really fancy reading that. Probably have a book that I'm reading with Wendy. And also, like, I want to read a Bukowski book. I think I'm going to read... I think it's Factotum, which is only about 200 pages. So, I want to read that J.G. Ballard book I didn't get to this month as well. But anyway, I'll just see what I fancy reading. 1st of May. I'm hoping to be working from home on the 1st of May, but it'll depend on if I've got an appointment after work or not. If I've got an appointment after work, I'll get out of work for that and see if I can work from home, because I would have been at home anyway on study day, so makes no odds really. Anyway, after that ramble and life update, I'm going to get on with the books. So this first pile is the ones I've been given. I have to say I'm a bit... no, I'm not actually. I'd say it's 50-50 between the two. There's more books in... There's 1, 2, 3... Yeah, there's quite a few in both piles that I fancy reading. So first up, we've got Dennis Lehane's Mystic River. When they were children, Sean Devine, Jimmy Marcus and Dave Boyle were friends, but then a strange car pulled up the street. One boy got in the car, 2 did not, and something terrible happened, something that ended their friendship and changed all 3 boys' life forever. 25 years later, Sean Devine is a homicide detective, Jimmy Marcus is an ex-con who owns a corner store, and Dave Boyle is trying to hold his marriage together and keep his demons at bay. Demons that urge him to do horrific things. When Jimmy Marcus's daughter is found murdered, Sean Devine is assigned to the case. His personal life unravelling, he must go back into a world he thought he'd left behind to confront not only the violence of the present, but the nightmares of his past. His investigation brings him into conflict with Jimmy Marcus, who finds his old criminal impulses tempt him to solve the crime with brutal justice, and there is Dave Boyle, who came home the night Jimmy's daughter died covered in someone else's blood. So that sounds really interesting. So I fancy reading that. Well, that one and the next 2 are books that I fancy reading first, but I'm not really sure which one I fancy first. So this one's called Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I like that cover. It's got... I didn't see the cover really when I bought it, because I wanted the book anyway. I've only just really looked at the cover now. A missing girl, a family torn apart, an unsolved mystery. 20 years ago, Claire and Lydia Scott's older sister vanished without a trace. Her disappearance had a devastating effect on their family. Now another teenage girl is missing, and the circumstances of her disappearance are hauntingly similar. It's up to Lydia and Claire to revisit their past, unearthing the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago. But will they be able to face what they find along the way? So that sounds really good. And that's just over 500 pages as well. And then Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. There are 2 sides to every story. Who are you? What have we done to each other? These are the questions Nick Dunn finds himself asking on the morning of his 5th wedding anniversary. When his wife Amy suddenly disappears, the police suspect Nick. Amy's friends reveal that she was afraid of him, that she kept secrets from him. He swears it isn't true. A police examination of his computer shows strange searches. He says they weren't made by him, and then there are the persistent calls on his mobile phone. So what happened to Nick's beautiful wife? So that's just under 500 pages. So that's that, Gone Girl. So they're the next three I fancy reading. Mystic River, Pretty Girls and Gone Girl. So that's that. Next up I've got In Hitler's Bunker by Armin D. Lehman with Tim Carroll. So it says, during the last months of Hitler's Berlin, an estimated 30,000 German teenagers perished defending their beloved Führer in the Russian onslaught. Armin Lehman was one of the few boy soldiers who escaped the bloodbath. Like every other member of the Hitler Youth, Armin would have given his life gladly for his leader, but he was not to be sacrificed to the enemy at the gate. Instead, he was chosen to serve in the German High Command's bunker complex. It was a stroke of fate that brought him into the company of the most notorious Nazis of Hitler's hated Reich, including Martin Bormann, Goebbels, and of course the Führer himself. When Hitler greeted Armin, the 16-year-old boy knew he had been granted a unique part in history. In Hitler's Bunker is Armin's eyewitness account of the Nazi apocalypse and reveals how his unquestioning fanaticism won him that role in the final act of the Third Reich. It takes us back to his boyhood and the brutal SS father who instilled the Nazis' hateful creed in his son, then follows Armin's odyssey through the ranks of the Hitler Youth, sharing his teenage anguish over his doomed love for a beautiful German nurse. Armin's gradual realisation of the full horror of what he had been part of led him to undertake a quest for the truth, which took him in the footsteps of Mahatma Gandhi to a meeting with Albert Schweitzer, the missionary and theologian. Above all, in Hitler's Bunker is the story of how one man, instead of running away from his past, confronted it and found peace at last. So that sounds quite interesting. I am into World War II fiction and non-fiction, so that's that. And then the next up I've got Adrian McKinsey's The Chain. Your phone rings, a stranger has kidnapped your child. To free them, you must abduct somebody else's child. Your child will be released when your victim's parents kidnap another child. If any of these things don't happen, your child will be killed. Victim, survivor, abductor, criminal, you'll become each one. So that sounds quite interesting. So that's that. Next up, I might just fly through these because there's too much to read them all. This is Richard Bachman, Blaze, which is Stephen King's pseudonym. I'm just going to go through them because I feel like I'm going to be here all night otherwise. Bob Mortimer, The Satsuma Complex. So that's that. It's by a comedian. It's his first novel, but he's written his memoir before. Sounds quite interesting, really. And then another non-fiction, but about World War II. Saul David, Crucible of Hell. So that sounds interesting. So that's those ones I was given, along with Hitler's Bunker. I've got a pile of books that I want to read next, so them three are going on that. Next up, I've got The Wise Friend by Ramsey Campbell. I did read a Ramsey Campbell a while ago. I can't remember what it. Parasite. I didn't enjoy it, but I got rid of it. But to find that now, it's expensive. Really expensive. So that's that. So I want to read that. And then I've got a couple of Ian Banks. So I read The Wasp Factory, which I weren't sure about. And now I've got The Bridge and Walking on Glass. So that's those two. And then I've got an Alan Dean Foster, The Paths of the Preambulator. This is Spellsinger, Volume 5. I've got a couple of these. I think I've got the first 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that. I'm not sure how many there actually are altogether, so just picking them up when I see them. And then this one I'm actually reading currently. This is Red Pill by Harry Kunzuru. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's about a writer who lives in America but moves to Germany to write. So it's quite interesting so far. I'm about just over halfway. And then I've got Kairos by Jenny Erpenbeck. Sounds quite interesting. It won the International Booker Prize last year. Alone in Berlin by Hans Verleder. Witch of the White House, I got that because it's a Nell paperback. And it says horror and supernatural. These ones I picked up online now, these next four. I've got Near Automata, short story long, which I'm going to read with the long story short by Near Automata. A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, which is a reread, but I want to read it with that Kitty Ferguson book, so I'm going to reread that. And then I've got a book about swans, the band. I wanted to read this, but I'm already reading Kraftwerk. I don't want to read too many band books about bands, so that's Swans, Sacrifice and Transcendence, the Oral History by Nick Soulsby. And then what I've read is Crazy Food Truck Manga Volume 3. I got this today. I finished this today. I got it. It was the final volume, so I was like, I may as well read it. I've got Anthony Beaver, Stalingrad. Again, like non-fiction, like World War II. And then I got a new copy of Cujo. This was the first. It's not the first edition of it in paperback. It's the first Futura edition. So I decided to keep that edition rather than the repress. Again, I had this one, Stephen King, The Dark Half, but it was a book club edition, so decided to keep this one. And then I think these two got together hand in hand, or like set in the same place. One by Bachman, which is The Regulators, and one by Stephen King, which is Desperation, but obviously it's still Stephen King. So yeah, I've got that as well. So yeah, so I think so I started that the day I got it. So I'm enjoying that so far. And then, like I say, next up is probably Gone Girl, Pretty Girls, Mystic River, or The Chain. Quite fancy that as well. And I also fancy that as well, Kairos. But I've got a few books I fancy, but at the minute I'm not like, because I've no plan. I've got a few reading books I want to read, like Factotum, a book off that. But I've got 2 books to catch up on off that as well. So I'll just see low pressure, do you know what I mean? I'll just see what I fancy reading, but I am swaying towards, maybe not one back to back, but definitely one of those next. But we'll see what I read on Friday Reads, because I've got about 9 books on the go at the minute. One I'm not too bothered about. In fact, is it in here? Just put some books away. So that's the book I've not read this month. I wanted to read. I thought I'd seen it somewhere, or I've moved it somewhere, or done something with it. There you are. See, I've got these 2 on the go. These are 2 of the books I've got on the go. I'm not too bothered about that because I'm just reading a column a week. This I want to start carrying on with. And then I've got a couple of other books that I want to get to and stuff like that. So I'm just going to try and clear down my currently reading and stuff like that. And I'm going to leave this here so I can go and have a read for a bit or go for a walk. And then I'll be back Friday with Friday Reads, I'll be back Thursday and then Friday Reads. So I'll see you then. Bye.